Here looks a bit like trying to fly to the moon in a paper plane. Frankly, none of the bookmakers this morning give him an earthly. He's 31, he's won 39 fights and only lost 4, but the wins have all come around North Dakota in small clubs in front of a handful of spectators. Here he's in at the elite level against the acknowledged world #1 at super middleweight, Joe Calzaghe. Although the independent rankings now put Sven Ottker, the German, the IBF champion, at #1. Well, Ottker couldn't stop Pudwill. Can Calzaghe?
Well, that's what he's got to try and do. He's got to send a message out, you know, that this guy's just not in his class.
Pudwill was saying at the press conference, my game plan is to take him out early.
Well, that's good talk, isn't it? But it's a different job doing it against a very good champion in Joe Calzaghe.
Strange old name, Tocker, Pudwill. He says not even his parents know why they gave it a name. So work that one out. Sounds like a character from a Dickens novel, doesn't it? Calzaghe gets him with a little right hand. He'll be expected here to make a bit of a statement, Calzaghe. Only in that fight here against Robin Reed did he ever look like losing this championship. Sometimes he's looked a bit off the boil, often he's looked very, very good.
Well, Enzo was saying training's gone good, he's very fit, he's really in tip-top shape, but he wants to win quick.
Calzaghe waiting for a big defining fight at the end of his career. Now Pudwill, clash of heads, I think, and I think he used the head, Calzaghe, and the referee Dave Parrish is saying do that again and there'll be serious consequences. Pudwill didn't like that much.
Well, big wild swinging shots showing Calzaghe wants to get Pudwill out and get him out early.
This is remarkably Pudwill's second attempt to become a world champion, going the full distance with Sven Ottker, who's a light puncher, and Pudwill was down twice in that fight.
Pretty upright, Pudwill, chin a little bit high. Needs to tuck that down a bit.
Calzaghe taken the distance in his last 2 fights, a thriller with Charles Brewer, and then a frustrating affair at Cardiff Castle against the Puerto Rican Miguel Jimenez. Pudwill tries to fight back and goes down, but there's no official knockdown there. There was plenty of leather being thrown. Calzaghe nails it this time with a big straight left hand, and Pudwill collapses against the ropes. Is he going to get through round 1? Gets up with the count at 8. Dave Parrish takes a close look. Is Calzaghe going to do this in 1? He might, you know. Oh, that's a huge shot again with the left hand. Pudwill now knows the reality of mixing at this level. I think this is it for him. He looks all spent. Got up at about 9.5.
I think a bit of confusion. The corner think
the round's over. They've got the stool out here, and the trainer's got in the ring. I think the bell did go somewhere. The bell did go amid all that. We didn't hear it. We didn't hear it. Otherwise, that might have been a Stephen Smith all over again, with the trainer getting in the ring and having his man disqualified.
That's right, but he was sure it had gone, and it had gone. Here's the first knockdown. Calzaghe really loading up a little bit inside of the glove with that left hook, and then a short little right. Sends Pudwill down for the first time. There's the big left hand. And this one much better. Nice shorter left hook, flat on the chin, and catches him there. Good shot, and down he goes, and lucky to make it that time. He was struggling at the end there.
And he's reluctant to come out for round 2. This is a man who's been mixing with fighters who lose much more than they win. And veterans, Pudwill, it's a massive jump up in class, and frankly, it's showing here. Coming in as a late substitute for the veteran world-class American Thomas Tate. The Calzaghe at the moment playing with him, toying with him. It's almost as if he's just going to pick the moment when he wants to finish the fight.
Well, he did go 12 with Tocker, so if he can get him out as early as this,
Pudwill's
it's really good.
Pudwill's right eye is shut. Must be one of those punches. Another left hand. We're not long from the finish here, surely. Down he goes again under the latest barrage, and the fight is stopped without a count, all over in round 2. Pudwill hopelessly out of his depth, and Joe Calzaghe, in the most facile fashion imaginable, to the delight of his wife, holds on to his world super middleweight title. But it has to be said, that will be one of the softest defences any world champion is given at any weight this year.
Yes, it will be. I'm sure Francois will say went 12 with Tocker, but I don't think there was ever much chance. Tocker, not much of a puncher. Calzaghe, much stronger puncher, and he needed to get it done quicker, and he did in pretty easy fashion.
Well, Pudwill's chances going into this looked about as good as Angus Deaton getting a job on Songs of Praise, didn't they?
Well, it did. He didn't really have a chance. Chin was carried high, didn't really have a great deal. And Calzaghe, who's been a champion for 5 years, it's just a matter of time before he was nailing them with those big shots.
Time for another big fight, though, for Joe. I think 3 of his last 4 now have been against substandard opposition, if we're really honest. I mean, he was great against Charles Brewer, I thought, and he's fought 4 world champions. But it really is time now for Joe to have that big fight. I don't think he's going to fight against Roy Jones or against Bernard Hopkins, but I think he can fight the light heavyweight champion, Nikochevsky. That was the end of the fight. It was always going to end in the second after what you saw in the first.
Yes, it was. I mean, he had that terrible eye, really had swollen up very badly. So from that point on, it was just going to be very quick. And Calzaghe, when he has his men going, he's a very good finisher. Throws a lot of punches, and Pudwill was never going to have a defense good enough to keep him off.
No, it was a fighter from the Premiership, really, against somebody from the Vauxhall Conference. It looked like that beforehand, and it was that. No quarrel at all with what Calzaghe did. He made that difference show, and how.
Well, that's what he had to do. He had to do a performance like that, and that's what he did, so he did well.
All over, no count necessary. Dave Paris waves it off. Couldn't let Pudwill take any more. I'm sure it was a horrific sight for his wife Melanie, who travelled the Atlantic to watch him tonight, to see if he could somehow make a long-held dream come true, but really there was never any hope whatsoever. Calzaghe is much, much too good for just about everybody in the super middleweight division.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 39 seconds of round number 2, referee Dave Paris has stopped the contest. In his opinion, the challenger Tocker Pudwill was in no position to continue. He's still the WBO super middleweight champion of the world from Newbridge in South Wales, Joe Calzaghe.
I'd just like to say thanks for everybody turning up tonight. I know for me and Ricky, you'll definitely want to come back here again. The good support was amazing. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. Love you all. Happy Christmas.
The new improved Joe Calzaghe, a PR dream. How nice to see it. All he could do was to win. And he's done that, as he liked. Mickey Piper, any thoughts on how he did it?
Well, I mean, destroyed a substandard opponent, really, but you can't take anything away from Joe. He did the job that had to be done in an impressive style, I suppose. You know, he did it in 2 rounds easily, whereas Fenolka struggled over 12.
This new improved version of Calzaghe, a few years ago, maybe down coming into the fight, would he have been a little sulky in his approach to it, do you think?
Possibly, and may usually have just
gone through the motions a little bit.
Rick Thornbury, you know, there's a few fighters down the line that he's just got done the 12 rounds. He knows now he has to impress David Starry. Starry was awkward, of course, but he has to impress. He has to impress
I think the difference is, Nicky, that this now he was beginning to believe in himself, and you know what? He's got to move up. I don't care if all those fights don't happen. He's got to make one that will happen.
Yeah.
Be it Mitchell, Cheska, whatever. He's ready for that big fight. He needs a super fight. He needs that motivation.
And the great thing, clearly, Barry, shown again tonight here in Newcastle, the public now believe and like Calzaghe.
Well, and they do believe and like him. And what's more, Paul, what they do believe and like him, what's more, he believes himself.
Let's hear from him.
Well, Joe, after the fight of the year against Charles Brewer, the event of the summer in Cardiff Castle, you predicted the knockout to end the year, and you got it. It meant a lot to you, didn't it?
Yeah, of course. I've been a distance now for the last 2 fights, so I love knocking people out. You know, Copenhagen seems a long time ago. You know, I know that this guy came in at late notice, but, you know, at the end of the day, it was showed the difference between me and Sven Ocker. Ocker couldn't stop him, blown him away. You know, if I'm extra critical, which I always am with performances, you know, I rushed at him a bit too much in the first. But, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of frustration in me. You know, I really want to knock this guy out.
You put him down 3 times. You were levels apart from him. Was he too soft for you? And do you need a bigger challenge?
Well, of course. I'm one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. I'm not just the best super middleweight in the world. I've done that. 5 years. I am the best, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. I'm ready for Hopkins. I was ready last year, I'm ready now. Bring him on and you will see a new Joe Calzaghe, a better Joe Calzaghe. Believe me, I will knock him out.
Frank Warren, Bernard Hopkins in the new year, or is he looking to move up to light heavyweight, which Joe's been talking about recently?
Let's talk about Bernard Hopkins first of all. His next fight has gone out to purse bids, and the purse bids were won by Don King for just over $2 million. That means he gets 1.2 million. To fight Joe Calzaghe, he's asked him for 6 million. So it's absolutely economically impossible to make that fight unless your bosses want to put the money up, and then great, we can make it. But the bottom line of all of it is, I believe Hopkins is basically putting himself in a corner where he's got nowhere to go, and the fight with him with Joe will definitely happen next year, but we've got to get to that stage. And it's not a question of some people are saying that we're calling out names. We had meetings. Hopkins agreed to the fight. He agreed it with Showtime, he agreed it with Don King, he agreed it with me, and the following day changed his mind, and that's a fact. The guy tonight, Joe, can only beat what's put in front of him. He came in as a last-minute substitution. And as Joe said, he went the distance with Ocker. And people say Ocker's a light puncher. He's defended his title successfully 16 times, Sven Ocker. He ain't a bad fighter.
You're almost getting too difficult to match at super middleweight. So do we go to light heavyweight?
Eventually, it's definitely always been my ambition to be a 2-time world champion. Who knows, maybe even a 3-time. You know, watching the cruiserweight division at the moment. But yeah, one step at a time. You know, I always want to be a 2-time world champion. You always got to set yourself goals. Adam, can I just say, get well soon to my Uncle Joe. He's in hospital now, in dear uncle mine. Get well soon.
Newcastle love you. Well done, Joe. Happy Christmas.
Stay with us. More on Calzaghe's display, and we'll